Alright, yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Alright. And the stream has started. Wow. Start us off.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Liam Landry, here with
Hello,
the Small Crescent
everybody.
Lions heavyweight champion.
You know me. Okay, no, you don't, but you know who I am. I'm Issa J. And,
But anyways, here's the next episode of our podcast shooting with the Smarky family.
yeah, I feel like it's gotten a lot lighter. Is that the right term? When it comes to the amount of opinions, but yet we're going a lot longer because we have more opinions.
That's a interesting conundrum to be in.
It is.
Issa.
Okay, it's like a weird paradox.
Yeah.
Moving on to before we get into the actual
side.
show. Before we actually get into the show, how was your week, buddy?
Oh, it was a week. You know, a lot of work. So.
Mm-hmm.
How about yours?
Yeah, I pulled an 11-hour shift. No real breaks. That was interesting, and I made some money. So, yes, that's fine. All things considered. Nothing too big to report that I'm aware of. Next week is gonna suck though, because the manager decided to give me 3 morning shifts, which don't give a lot of good tips, and 1 normal shift, like a nighttime shift, but not closing, and 1 closing shift. So I'm just like, well, I'm gonna be tired next week.
Yeah. I mean, I think people should remember, if you're ordering a pizza at 8 in the morning, to tip you guys. Well.
Luckily, we're not that early, but but still, a lunchtime pizza I think deserves a tip, because there's only like 3 people in the store at that time. If we're lucky, sometimes it's only 2.
Yeah. Besides this upcoming week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's upcoming week.
Yes. How about the week after that?
Don't know yet, but
Do you know what you're gonna do next Sunday? Because I'm out of town.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the Sunday is falls. That's my closing shift. So, but I might check out some fun New Japan after I get off. Give out my thoughts. They have some pretty good stuff going on.
Yeah. Yes. Anyways, we're gonna transfer now into our first segment, wrestling news outside the WWE.
Yes, sir. And Madison Rayne, very, very iconic woman wrestler in TNA/Impact, had a pretty busy year so far. She was in a title match against Su Yung for Impact. She was in that Fatal 4-Way with Tessa Blanchard, Britt Baker, and what's her name? What's Chelsea Green?
Yes.
Chelsea Green. Mm-hmm. Put on a great showing. Had a very fun spot where she climbed up to the top rope and just jumped on everybody. That's always fun to see. So, and she actually participated in the Mae Young Classic for WWE. So she has been having a busy year, and the busy year has not ended yet. She is signed to Ring of Honor now. She I don't know the full-on details about the contract that she signed for them. However, I can expect that she's going to be pretty. She's going to have a pretty prominent position, which is cool because she definitely deserves it. Yeah, I liked her stuff in Impact before I stopped watching Impact, and then seeing her in a few more matches has been really, really cool, bringing back pretty good memories. So I'm hoping that she is able to get the championship, and Ring of Honor treats the veteran a little bit better than what WWE is with Mickey James.
Yes.
Any thoughts on the matter?
No, I guess it's all some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully see her in ROH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to start watching some ROH content soon too.
Yes.
But yeah, in your news?
Well, I'm gonna swerve on my news from what we talked earlier.
Oh, okay.
Because something you said, well, something you brought up, Chelsea Green, that made me think of what happened at Lucha Underground this past week. Chelsea Green actually made her debut. The Lucha Underground is, of course, taped, taped beforehand, but that video was her officially making her debut and coming in to interfere in a match, and ended up costing Pentagon Jr. his championship. So Pentagon Jr. is no longer the Lucha Underground champion. She came in, hit him with a Canadian destroyer, and yeah, that was kind of a real big way to come in, and
that's definitely a way to make an impact.
Yes, it is.
No pun intended.
Yes, it is. Especially since it's lucha.
Yeah.
And that's a real way to make a lucha. But yeah, that's such a big thing right there for Pentagon Jr. or Pentagon Dog, as I believe he's still called in the Lucha Underground. Sometimes it's very difficult to keep up with, but yeah, he no longer has the title. Like I said, she interfered, and I am trying to see where.
So who was he wrestling?
No, that's what I'm just trying to find out right now. Because I literally just thought of it as you mentioned her name.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
But yeah, so they have been thinking about going. The Lucha Brothers have been thinking about going to New Japan. And how crazy would that be?
Yes, I heard about that, about using connections with CMLL to kind of go into that way.
And now that they've had a few matches with like pretty much guys who are staples of New Japan right now, Young Bucks, Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and the like, maybe they have a pretty good in to get over there and have some very memorable matches. Ishii versus Pentagon Jr. would be mental. Will Ospreay versus Rey Fenix. Like, how cool would that be? Or a tag team, Evil and Sonata versus those the Lucha Brothers would be a fantastic match. But I would love to see the Rainmaker, Okada, go up against one of those two guys. That would be cool.
Yes, and I finally found it. I remember hearing about it when it happened, but if you guys got the name, Marty the Moth is now the new champion through nefarious means, of course, because that's kind of how him and the Moth Tribe works, or whatever. I don't think I'd call him Moth Tribe, but him and his in-story cousin. And I guess Chelsea Green is now a part of that. But yes, Marty the Moth is now
I am so behind.
Lucha Underground champion.
Because I wouldn't expect somebody called Marty the Moth to be a champion with the Lucha Underground.
Kind of came in as a joke character, but then he did very dark things when he was stalking, what's her name? Something Santos, the ring announcer.
Oh, okay.
So they were actually stalking her, and then they also stalked Sexy Star and did stuff to her.
So basically like Son of Havoc, where he comes out as this guy to be a comedy jobber type, but then he gets super over with the crowd organically, and then they actually give him a title.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say over with the crowd, but as a heel or Rudo, it's very hated by the crowd. Then, so
yeah.
But anyways, yes, like I said, he's the new champion. Upset there. Not really as big of an upset as earlier in the week when Goto lost his championship to
Tai
Chi. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Apparently there was a ton of interference in that matchup. Whole lot of stuff. But yeah, he's new never open week champion.
That's another big one right there. Also, not anything news related, but just fun. I watched a New Japan Pro Wrestling YouTube video, and it was the history of all the backstabs from Bullet Club. So that was interesting, and they had it all the way up to date up until Firing Squad went against the Elite. But I really liked how Kenny Omega did his, because I heard all that and I was like, oh, AJ Styles got attacked and stuff. But I loved Kenny Omega's promo after the fact, because he was like, I'm sick and tired of being in the shadows, of starving myself to be a junior. And it's like, that was so cool, because seeing Kenny Omega, he's a big guy, and I would never have expected him doing junior stuff when now he's like the guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Tai Chi was for the most part the only real big winner from Suzuki Gun. From what I've seen, I saw Zack Sabre Jr. He actually got the pin on Evil in that 6-man match that they had. But I know Desperado and
he was wrestling with Roppongi 3K, right? No. Never mind. That's Will Ospreay.
But Desperado and Yoshinobu, they actually lost a non-championship match. They're they're the junior heavyweight tag team champs right now, and they actually lost the match against Tiger Mask and Liger, Jushin
Oh,
Thunder
okay.
Liger, who are probably going to be the next contenders for the title. And I also know Killer Elite Squad lost to, in the one show, yes, they lost to the Best Friends. So, yeah, so Suzuki, and Suzuki also lost to Naito earlier in the week. So, was that best week for
Whoa,
Suzuki?
Naito actually got the win?
Yes. So, like I said, not the best week for Suzuki.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, going to news inside WWE, as long as we don't have anything else. We do have another one connected to your story last week. We now have the winner of the Battle for Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was Jeff Cobb who ended up taking the victory.
Nice.
Yes.
I wonder if I might try to look for it, because apparently it's going to be a while before the DVD sales start for that event.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I might get it. We might be able to do like a live reaction to it and stuff. Cause I mean, I hear the matches have been quite amazing.
Yes, heard a lot of good things about the matches. So. But yeah, with big shakeups, that's all that I heard of.
So let's get right into the WWE stuff. We'll let you start this round.
I was going to talk a little bit about the Mixed Match Challenge. So far, they've only had 2 matches in there. We've had the team of Day One Glow, well, it should really be called Day One Glowish, but they don't say that, of Naomi and the Usos she's married to. I can never remember.
I think it's Jay.
I think it's Jay, yeah. Pretty sure it's Jay Uso. And they got defeated by the team of Charlotte and AJ Styles.
Yes.
And probably had the worst segment in there, where Charlotte attempted to twerk. Yes, it's as bad as you think. But anyways, and then the other match was Braun Strowman teaming up with Ember Moon to defeat Kevin Owens and Natalya. It ended with a Eclipse.
Team Little Big 2.0.
Yeah, Team Eclipse from the top of Braun Strowman's shoulders onto Natalya for the win. And this happened because the other part of this news is that Alexa Bliss is out of the Mixed Match Challenge because of an arm injury that she must have apparently suffered at Hell in a Cell. That's kind of what the reports are saying. So, I mean, it explains why, she tapped so quickly before the armbar was actually applied to it. She must have had a legitimate arm injury. And I would say thanks a lot, Rhonda, the rookie, injuring people. Didn't I get injured?
Probably.
Because I know right now she's in physical therapy.
Well, she made her return. She did make her return. She teamed with Ember Moon this past Monday Night on Raw, and she got the win against 2 jobbers. It was 2 jobbers, I think.
And
yes, it was. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's not a great track.
I lied. No, it wasn't. It was against Mickey James and Alicia Fox.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's
Alicia
who it was.
Fox.
Alicia Fox and Mickey James lost to Ember Moon and.
Call Mickey James a jobber.
That's what I said. Like, WWE do not give their veterans the respect they deserve. Except if you're Trish Stratus, probably. But I was watching a couple of interviews with Alexa, so it does seem like she will be able to be ready and back in action for her match against Trish for Evolution. So at least that should be good.
So which interviews are you talking about?
Interview with Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.
That would have been done before Hell in a Cell, though. that
is
was
right.
That was done the week before, so we never really get to see her much afterwards.
We're gonna have to look into that.
It may not be a serious thing, but they probably don't want her to do anything until Evolution because they don't want her
to jeopardize that match.
Because it's such a marquee match, I believe.
But she looks really excited about it. So,
yes.
Do you think they're gonna make her take the L, or are they gonna actually, or is Trish gonna be like, no, I'm putting you over in a big way?
Well, logic would dictate that Trish should lose.
But it's WWE.
Right.
And their logic is wishy-washy. But let's go more into the future, all the way to the Royal Rumble. Apparently, they have their very first posters made and ready to go, and tickets are going to go on sale October 12th. So that's really big. But the poster is very basic. It's all the best of the best.
It's all the wrestlers on there, and they're all drinking pumpkin spice lattes. That's how basic it is.
It's just you have the background from The Lion King, and instead of the lions, instead of Simba on there, it's the wrestlers. And I mean, it's all your big names basically. Becky, Charlotte, Ember. Is that something to be noteworthy on there? That she's getting a spot on. No Alexa, unfortunately. But maybe they're about to push her in a big way. Ronda is there. Braun. In the middle. In the bottom middle, it's Roman. Of course, he's leading the pack. But right above him is his Shield brother, Seth, and longtime rival Braun Strowman. AJ is there.
It's kind of weird how the Shield's all separated like that.
Mm-hmm. Very
Especially
much so.
Dean Ambrose, he's separated from the two, Seth Rollins and Roman.
Even more so than what Roman and Seth are.
Yeah, they're kind of together more.
So is that a tease there?
I don't know.
Maybe. There's no Dolph Ziggler, but there is a Drew McIntyre. Is that a tease there? Of course, The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Shinsuke Nakamura. So, and then, well, what Liam said, the biggest prediction for WWE is thinking Bobby Lashley's still going to be there by January. He's also there. So just looking at this, obviously you have... Oh, and Asuka. Asuka is there. So, does that mean Asuka, Charlotte, and Becky are going to have a feud going? Does that mean Ronda and Ember are going to have something? Is Dean going to turn on his Shield brothers? Braun Strowman? What is the stories here? Just obviously it's just a Photoshop, boom, there you go. But what are the stories there? That is interesting to see if they're trying to put little Easter eggs of what they're planning. Don't know, but it's just a little fun bit of news to report on with WWE, because we don't always get that. I mean, unless you have more thoughts on the poster.
No.
Yeah, it was hard just to come up with all of that. Moving on to the best segment of the week.
Yes. My best segment of the week happened in the New Japan show Destruction in Kobe. And it was the final match, the main event of the entire Destruction tour, basically, which was Tanahashi versus Okada for the shot at the IWGP title at Wrestle Kingdom. This is the first defense for that title shot right now for Tanahashi that he won at G1. And this was a really good matchup. It had really great storytelling, especially involving injuries, and I think Okada really played his storyline well as the heel who continue his upset, being upset about about losing a title and being so distraught about it. It definitely showed that he's willing to do stuff he never did before, in of course unfair ways, in order to get that title shot opportunity. Showed he's very desperate, and Tanahashi was also desperate because he wants to beat Okada, and he says he doesn't deserve a title shot if he can't beat Okada. That's why he, accepted the challenge for it, because he wanted to do it. Because I think they said during it they fought. Okada won 5 of their matches. I think Tanahashi won 3. And I think there was 3 draws, all at the G1s, as a time limit. And he said that over the last 6 years, their matches never went under 30 minutes. So these are 2 big competitors, and Okada's been winning or drawing with Tanahashi for quite a while now. So this was a big thing that Tanahashi wanted to do, and he showed how desperate he was. In there, he was working they were both end up working their knees as being injured. There's a point where Tanahashi, slingshots out of and does a crossbody to Okada on the outside. Looks like he hits his knee on the barricades, and they actually go back and do that again later in the match. I was just kind of showing you how desperate Tanahashi is. He's putting his body on the line, and like every time, like he goes for his high five flow, which is his frog splash, Tanahashi's frog splash finisher, and it's like he goes, but he lands partially on his knee, so he hits it, but he also lands on his knee, can't go for the cover. There's points there where Okada goes for the air raid crash neck breaker onto the knee, but he can't do anything with it because of his knee injury. So both guys are really kind of putting all things out there, and then by the end it's a lot of action and exciting stuff. There was multiple tombstone pile drivers. There was even one to the outside. Tanahashi hit Okada with the tombstone pile driver, then got into the ring. There was about to be a count out. Okada was just still laid out, but by the 19th count, Tanahashi got onto the top rope and did a frog splash to the outside song and made the count restart, because he didn't want to win by count out. He wanted to pin Okada because he needed to prove that he could do it. So it's one of those really good storytelling moments. And
that must have been like pretty nerve-wracking with the count, because you say how New Japan does their counts really, really well.
Yes.
So just seeing
when
Tanahashi just going through his mind and then deciding, nope, don't want to win that way.
Yeah, when you get to the point of like 17, 18, and Kyle's still really laid out, it's like, can he get up in time and stuff? But then, boom, out of nowhere, Tanahashi just goes and does the splash outside. And then the way it basically came to an end was there was an attempted second rope tombstone pile driver from Okada, and Red Shoes was really selling this like, oh no, but Tanahashi blocked that and then went and rolled back and then hit a crossbody, but Okada still on the second rope, crossbodied him off and landed. Then he went back to the top, crossbody again. Then he went back up, frog splash. Then he got the 1, 2, 3, showing you that he had to pull out everything to try to get that win.
That must have been so exciting.
Yes, it was real exciting, and to a match of really good storytelling and everything. And they both guys did a real good job. And I would say, one of the things that sets Okada apart from everyone else is his ability to sweat in a way. Because like they were showing clips beforehand of at the end of the G1, they actually showed like Okada like laying down and he had like a pool of sweat like right in the middle of his chest and just sweat coming off, and it's like it always adds extra drama to it. But another big thing happened afterwards, because Okada is on the ground, Tanahashi is celebrating. He's getting the briefcase back. And then Jay White storms the ring and attacks Tanahashi, calling him out, you know, because Jay White beat Tanahashi and he beat Okada during G1. So he feels that he's the one who should be in line for the title. Then he attacks Okada. Shown official split. Rocky Romero was actually on commentary. He came like halfway through the show to go on commentary. Jay White comes in out there to the commentary table and yells at Rocky to give him a chair. Rocky doesn't want to do it. He grabs Rocky and throws him into some barricades and then takes the chair. About to go back. Then we had, you know, a pretty big slip up. Yoshihashi tries to make a run in, but I guess the ramp. From what I've heard from other wrestlers on Twitter about it, is that run-ins on ramps are pretty difficult because of you know, hitting your footing. As he got to the bottom, he actually tripped and fell. The HUD cam really didn't pick it up. You just kind of see him go down. It must have been a pretty bad injury because he was really bleeding a lot afterwards.
Oh, wow.
And had to be helped, and they brought him to a medical facility, as WWE would call it. Everyone else would just call it a hospital.
Yeah, that's insane.
But he did get back in there, and the bleeding did help because everyone ended up getting covered in blood. It made it look intense, and Jay White took the opportunity to take some of Yoshihashi's blood and like wipe it on his face for dramatic effect, you know, right in front of the camera. But Jay White beats up him, and then right before he can go, Jay White can go strike Okada with the chair. We had Yato run down and take the chair from him. Okada goes back up to his feet to confront Jay White, but then Yato strikes Okada in the back with a chair. And Yato is, of course, if you don't know, has been, I guess you can say maybe the manager. He doesn't really interfere with the matches, but he's been accompanying Okada throughout his entire title run, and probably even before that. So a close friend of Okada's, but now he's betrayed him and aligned himself with Jay White, and then went to the mic and in Japanese basically called out Tanahashi and said that, you know, Jay White is going to have the championship and he's going to have the he's going to have the title shot at I think they said King of Pro Wrestling. I think it's supposed to happen. It would either be that or they could. I don't think it's going to be for the event next Sunday. I think it's going to be King of Pro Wrestling. But they said like at King of Pro Wrestling, Jay White's going to beat Tanahashi for that title opportunity. So that's big,
crazy.
Yeah, chaos.
So chaos there's chaos and chaos, even more so than before.
Yeah. No.
It's like,
we also can note that Rapani 3K was in the building, but they didn't make a run. They had a match earlier, so where do Show and Yo lie?
It's like Bullet Club did it, and now Chaos is doing it.
Yeah.
Next is gonna be Suzuki-gun. Oh no. Who would betray anyone on Suzuki-gun?
I don't know. I mean, I you know, you could say whatever you want about Suzuki-gun, but they definitely seem like the most loyal bunch. they had the one leader, and it's Suzuki, and no one's seems like they're gonna question that.
I mean, if Suzuki was my leader, it'd be really hard to question it, because I'd be scared what he'd try to do to me.
Yes.
Yeah, my favorite. I'm just gonna go WWE this time. And I have been thinking a lot about it. I really did enjoy 2 matches at Hell in a Cell. AJ versus Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Thought was really fun. But also the Raw Tag Team Championship match. Thinking more and more about it, I do have to say that it was a fun showing, and I liked the story that they were telling. I really, really enjoyed the the anarchy of the third act of the match, and the finish was so picture perfect with Drew McIntyre getting the Claymore in before Seth could hit the Falcon's arrow. So I have to go with that one. I do, because I was invested. And yeah, they did have that that soft, small, slow moment. How many S words can I come up with? Thank you, sir.
No problem.
In the middle, but that just ended up boosting it to higher levels once it really got to the chaotic finish. So
Knuckles chaotic.
So yeah, that was really fun. Thank you, sir. Are you ready to rant?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was torn between what I'm gonna rant about and that twerking segment because it was that bad. It wasn't even like a light one. It was like the one where like when she's like on all fours and like sticks the butt in the air and does the twerk. It's like that's terrible. But what I am gonna rant about is Crown Jewel.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's pretty ridiculous. Like we thought Evolution was going to be like the payback for not having the women for the greatest Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently it's just a distract from the Crown Jewel that happens like 5 days afterwards. It's like, oh great, yeah. I mean, we all knew this was gonna happen. They have a 10-year deal with them, so it's just
5 days after.
It's very close.
Wow. Oh man.
But I mean, you can't really do much now with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty terrible that they decided to go with it in the first place. Should have been pretty obvious, you know. The fact that you can't have women there. The fact that you can't have people like Sami Zayn there because they don't like Syrians and don't want a Syrian person of Syrian descent there. I also think that they have a few Jewish wrestlers too. They're probably not going to go over to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Who was that? I think is one of the cruiserweight Jewish? But anyways, it's yeah, just kind of a terrible thing that you're doing there, and it really sucks. But I mean, I can't really say much more about that. I mean, other than the obvious.
My rant this week is I have no idea when that went out. We apologize for our microphone mishaps. We do. I'm sorry. As I was saying, WWE has Braun Strowman, really good character, ruins it in the end. uh, Dolph and Drew, really good tag team with a really cool storyline, ruins it in the end. Or Hell in a Cell, where the pay-per-view was really, really good. And then just the last couple matches ruins it in the end. And it's just so unfortunate that a lot of people, when they think about this past Hell in a Cell, they're going to feel upset because of how it ended. I feel like it's time where Vince McMahon should talk to... It felt like, and I wanted to say this before, it felt like Triple H was booking Hell in a Cell, except the main event. The main event was all Vince. Everything else was Triple H doing every little thing to make it that much extra, that much more entertaining and so that we can enjoy it. Enjoyable, yeah. And then Vince was like, okay, but I get the main event, and this is what I want to do. And everyone was just not for it at all. I really hope that WWE can stop with this, because very few things in WWE has had the best perfect ending and not have it screwed up. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's there. I was about to say Ric Flair, but nope, he went back to wrestling. I was gonna say Undertaker, but nope, he went back. I was gonna say Shawn Michaels, but he's about to go back.
Did you see the one SpongeBob meme where it's you ever seen like the episode where they had the hat, Smithy, what's my jigger, and he was number one.
Mm-hmm.
They take that, and on the grave they put the Taker Shawn Michaels match, and on Mr. Krabs they put that Crown Jewel logo, and it's like, am I really going to defile this grave for money? Yes.
Great. But yeah, that's my rant.
Yeah. That always sucks with that. Because I mean, ending, those matter.
They do.
That's the whole point to finish strong. Anyways, I guess we go into our next segment.
It's time to book it ourselves.
What we booking, Dano?
Let's book a war.
Just yesterday, I saw that on a car. They had like a front license plate from Hawaii, and it was a personalized plate that says "Book 'em, Dano."
So let's book a war. How do we...
Who we're invading?
We're invading Saudi Arabia. How? WWE. Who are the women that are going to wrestle in Saudi Arabia as a surprise?
I don't know. You ever think they could just like want to make like a compromise? It's like, okay, let them wrestle, but they'll just be in full clothed outfits or something.
Didn't happen at another Middle Eastern area? And then the chance of...
Like you said was Dubai. That's United Arab Emirates.
Yeah. And the fans were chanting, "This is progress," right?
And so when I tell them, say, no, that's in England. Yeah.
Good one.
But I mean, first, it feels like you have to have Alexa Bliss in here. Because I feel even in Saudi Arabia, she's probably still popular because it's Alexa Bliss.
Do we do a summer? Do we do a Survivor Series rematch where it's the Queen versus the Goddess? And this time let the Goddess go over?
Yes, if we do it like that, that's fine.
Okay. Because at least it'll be given. If Charlotte Flair continues to lose in a sort of way, she lost her best friend, she lost her title, she lost a match she's won before, she's lost this, she's lost that. But actually give Charlotte Flair a sense of, I need to become better in order to start winning again.
Mm-hmm.
But
Some Charlotte reborn.
mm-hmm. In order for people like me to care about Charlotte again. But no, I don't know. That's just what I think.
And then next up, I think we should end up bringing in American actress Elizabeth Olsen.
Okay.
Yes, but she's there because the Saudi prince is like, I really want to see Miss Elizabeth, but she's dead. So you just pick anyone with the name Elizabeth to replace her. A la the sumo wrestler from last time.
Oh my gosh.
I think the prince found that out. He's like, did he just like watch that and just think that that was actually Yokozuna?
I have no clue. Are they gonna do it around the same time that there's gonna be a prayer? And it's gonna be, and is it gonna be as big of a show as it was the last time?
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be as big as a show. Well, there's multiple prayers a day, so.
Oh, okay. Because when that happens, it just causes everything to hit like a massive halt, and then you're just sitting there like, I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah. I would say most devout Muslims, they will normally like pray about 5 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I figure that wherever they go, and I mean they of course want to do, you know, prime time in Saudi Arabia now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to do it. You know, like when you do a show, you don't want it just midday. It doesn't make sense.
So you bring the primetime players into the show?
No.
Is that before you started watching?
No, that's Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, right?
I got the wrong. Yeah, that's them.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when they imploded and had a really, really terrible match at a pay-per-view. I was like, wow, this is really, really terrible.
Mm-hmm. I meant the other guys. I feel stupid now.
Who's the other guys?
Trying to remember the tag team name.
Do you remember any individual name?
Their whole gimmick was being gangsters.
Oh, Prime Time?
Wow. I'm ashamed. Yes, Crime Time. Should we bring Crime Time back to Saudi Arabia?
I don't know. I don't know what the race relations is like in Saudi
I'm pretty sure there was a couple black guys wrestling. Oh yeah, Bobby Lashley was there. He almost killed, was that, Drew McIntyre? He almost killed? By making it, like, landing him on his neck almost? Was that Braun Strowman? I don't remember. But yeah, bring Crime Time back and have them wrestle the Harlem Heat. I would actually really like to see that match.
That'd be a difficult one. Because, I mean, Booker and his brother had real life beef. I don't know if they ever worked things out. Hopefully they did.
Yeah, hopefully. Because I know it's a tough thing to be in a real life feud with your own flesh and blood. It's not easy. Yeah, I guess that's all we can really book for Crown. Okay, last thing. Let's rename Crown Jewels. What should we call it?
Number one, it's not even called Crown Jewels. It's like Crown Jewel.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, it doesn't even make sense. It's not even named. It's like
it's just one jewel.
Yeah. And I don't know. If you want to say jewel, you could say like Jewel of the Desert or something like that. Sounds better than Crown Jewel. Or call it the Greatest House Show.
Who do you think's winning? Roman?
Yeah. I don't see any major title flips happening there.
Yeah. I don't know why they're doing two in a month, back to back. It's just...
I guess we had the Australian one, then Evolution, and then we had that one. It's like, oh, it's so weird.
I feel like Evolution is going to do some good to push storylines forward. Hopefully. Well, we'll see. Just once they announced the Crown Jewel on Raw, I was just like, a lot of my enthusiasm for WWE did disappear a bit. You think we're gonna see another Whisper in the Wind against Jinder Mahal miss entirely, but Jinder sells anyway? That'd be fun.
Could be. I'd just be surprised to see Jeff Hardy still wrestling by then.
Jeff Hardy comes back to another match. I was like, Jeff, why are you here? Because Vince has my soul and I have to wrestle, or I'll die.
It's my bucket list to one day jump off the world's tallest building. It's like, that's in Dubai. This isn't even the right country. Hey, it's a big tower. I'll jump from there to the arena. It's totally possible. It's okay. We'll put a couple of boxes underneath, so to break my fall.
Oh, Jeff. But yeah, let's go into the. What do you think? Obviously, for people who don't know of the show, it's when we ask the other guy a question and just want to know what they think. And I just want to know, what do you think about this whole Saudi Arabia stuff still going on?
Well, like I said, we already know they had a 10-year deal. So it's going to continue happening. And I don't know, this thing is sucky. I mean, not only just for the women, but for, you know, for, like I said, Jewish, you know, members of the rest of WWE and fan base, and also LGBT members of fan base and things like that. And even just other things. I mean, Saudi Arabia is not really that great of a country, and sleeves aren't great. And from everything that we've seen, they are probably connected to 9/11 attacks. But but because they have a lot of oil, and one of the major contributors of oil to Europe, they get a lot of pass because of that. Gonna be a good thing just to see a replacement for oil, just to see that entire country collapse, because its entire economy is based around oil.
Yeah.
Because it's a socialist country. It's basically like Venezuela. Venezuela was based entirely around their oil industry, and then when OPEC did that thing where they released a whole lot of oil into the market and crashed prices, it crashed their economy. A lot of speculation was that OPEC did that to crash the U.S. economy, but it didn't end up working. We actually were able to pull it out of mostly, but it crashed Venezuela, and that's when they're in the situation they're in now. So if someone could find a really good replacement for oil, it would probably collapse most of the Middle East, but especially Saudi Arabia. So that's actually one of the big reasons why they're doing stuff like this, because they're trying to work they're trying tourism. They're trying to boost tourism to Saudi Arabia to help build that economy up, so that when there is a collapse in oil, they won't be hurt so much. But that's still probably a good amount of way, especially. That's even why they're doing stuff like allowing women to drive and everything. You know, they're trying to do that mostly for show, to try to convince people that Saudi Arabia is okay, that they should go there. And I think there's a good hypocrisy involved when you look at, say, you heard about, Salt Bay?
I think so, yeah.
That chef with the salt. Well, he got under a lot of fire recently because at his restaurant, he hosted the president of Venezuela and gave him a big dinner, and he posted it on Instagram and stuff, and people were really upset about him because he talked about how Venezuela is a terrible person, and they're protesting outside his restaurants. This was in Turkey, because I think that's where Salt Bay is from, but he has American restaurants open too, and people were protesting there. And I think it's such a ridiculous thing, because number one, he might have not even known about the situation in Venezuela. That's not like everyone does. And when like a president of an entire country comes and says, "Hey, I want to have dinner at your restaurant," you're gonna turn them down. And even then, like, we don't look at bigger picture stuff. Like we don't, like, it's much even worse for WWE, because that's, like I said, that was a dinner and some post on Instagram. No one would have ever heard of it if it didn't blow up so much. But this whole event is basically a giant ad for Saudi Arabia, paid for by the Saudi government, and no one really goes after WWE for that portion, really. It should even be a major thing.
One thing I remember very, very much so, for the Greatest Royal Rumble, which is a stupid title, anyways, was the amount of times the color commentary had to say how great and progressive a place Saudi Arabia was, and it felt forced.
But that's because it was forced.
Well, yeah. But it was just...
Had someone off stage with a whooping stick, ready to flog them if they didn't say anything correctly. And that person was Vince McMahon. And to be fair, that's every Raw as well. Every time they say 999, he's like, "Better say it, better say it." So.
Tell them that it's free for the first month. Tell them that. But don't tell them about you need to stay on the network for 6 months before you can actually cancel anytime. You can say you could cancel anytime, but not for the 6-month agreement. Don't bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, and much like I said, Saudi Arabia ends up getting a pass. I mean, they're kind of like a rich bully in high school that everyone puts up with because their family is rich and they can get stuff from. But if it wasn't for there, people would have rejected Saudi Arabia a long time ago.
Yeah.
Rejected other stuff too. Like, one thing I really hate is AJ Plus. You ever heard of that?
I don't think so.
They're online media group, but they cover a lot of news in the U.S. And the thing is, it's connected to Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is the government-run network in Saudi Arabia. So it's like, it's either one thing when you're talking about like election interference stuff. No one really kind of points out. It's like saying, hey, that's a news agency run by a foreign country that's doing stories in the U.S. that can be seen as politically slanted. And every time I see an AJ story that's about something like women's issues, I was like, who is Saudi Arabia to go to America and talk about women's issues?
You know, that's very interesting.
So if someone can invent some cold fusion and you know, replace the need for oil, that'd be great. Yeah.
The answers are out there somewhere.
I guess for my question, what do you think? Well, what do you think of this chaos implosion angle?
I think it's fun. They've been teasing it with Jay White for a while. I would have never guessed Yano. Was it Yano? Not Yano. Yato. I would have never guessed Yato be a part of it.
I'd put a ridiculous spin on it if it was Yano.
Yano is Yano Chaos too? Okay. But yeah, Yato always being there in his corner, always being the hype man. And turning, kind of like what Prince Devitt did back when Bullet Club was first starting. And he turned on Taguchi. Turned on him, and then
yeah, I would say this: the ring announcers did come and say from Taguchi, Japan. So apparently they do recognize that as a faction now.
So yeah, it should be interesting. I want to see more matches between Jay and Akava, and I want to see just how far Jay White can go.
I want to see how it ends up splitting. You know, where everyone goes. Be interesting with Rapani 3K because he tagged Rocky Romero, but Show and Yo, like, oh, I don't know where they're gonna be at it or anything.
I wonder if they're gonna play it to where, oh man, Rocky Romero's always interfering. He's holding us back. Let's align ourselves with Jay. Or if there's gonna be a brand new faction, or if this is just gonna be Yato and Jay.
Yeah, I think maybe you could do a older guys versus younger guys type thing with Prime 3K and Will Ospreay joining Jay White. With on the other side, you have Okada, Goto, Ishii, and Yano. And say like the young, and well, I don't know where Yoshi's going.
Yoshihashi.
Yeah.
Probably.
If he didn't have that slip, maybe he would have been able to do a little more, and I would have known if he was out there to defend Okada or just attack Jay White.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see what's going on next. I really want a really good faction in WWE. Like a good 5 to 6 man faction.
Oh, we have the #1 rated faction of WWE of all time in the Shield.
Well, they're not doing anything as the Shield. Like, they bring them together to just get that pop, and then they go their separate ways again.
Yeah.
The days of the Shield.
At Hell in a Cell, didn't Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose technically come out separately? Like what? Like I think it was Seth Rollins first, and then Dean Ambrose kind of came out after. Like they met on top of the stage and came down, but they kind of came out with 2 separate musics.
They did.
Yeah, it's all weird that it didn't come down to the Shield music.
Yeah, very, very much so. That's what they've been doing. They're now single stars, all 3 of them, and yeah, they're still the Shield, but the days of the Shield ended when Seth turned on Roman and Dean. So they're trying to bring that fire back, and everyone loves the Shield, but Vince and the creative team doesn't understand why everyone loves the Shield to begin with.
I'd throw in there that I was always not really for the Shield, because when I first saw it, I saw it as a method to get Roman Reigns over.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when I first saw it, and I think it was even before they were tag teams. I didn't see when they first debuted, but I looked at it and it's like, oh yeah, see that Roman Reigns guy? He's gonna be the one they're gonna push very strongly out of this, and everything is around to make him look better, and that's why he's in the tag team.
But I mean, I like their MO. I really did. So yeah, I want to see WWE bring in a big faction, and they don't have to have all the belts all the time. I mean, right now, Bullet Club has like 2. Firing Squad has 1. Chaos has
And
the
Sunday,
most, I think.
Sunday they're gonna compete for the other one.
Mm-hmm.
This Sunday they're gonna compete for the heavyweight tag titles.
Firing Squad?
Against Young Bucks, and I'm gonna go with the Firing Squad with that one. Because you gotta keep the new faction strong. You don't want them to be put out too quickly.
The only way they lose is it becomes a big schmoz.
Yeah.
Or 30-minute time limit, or do they get an hour for the? Because it's a tag match.
I think it could be an hour.
1 hour time limit.
But Chaos does not have any right now, actually.
Oh, really?
Now, Goto was the last champion, and he lost it.
Who are the others then?
Suzuki-gun has the junior heavyweight tag title, and now the never openweight title. Bullet Club has IWGP Heavyweight Championship and the Heavyweight Tag Championships. Firing Squad has the never openweight 6-man title, and then the junior heavyweight title is vacant at this point. So
because
As Takahashi's
Takahashi
injuries.
decided to try to kill himself.
Yeah, well. Apparently he had a very funny video on YouTube about it, because he doesn't want to be seen until he gets back into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of him giving up the title, they basically had the CEO of New Japan talking to the belts, and just had a voiceover for the belts as the belt talked for Hiromu.
That's great.
Yes. And they said written and directed by Takahashi. Yes, but yeah, so I guess technically Bullet Club, Elite Bullet Club, and Suzuki-gun are tied right now.
Is any Taguchi Japan guys with a belt, or is Tanahashi the only one with something like?
Juice is
Juice,
US champion.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping he keeps it against Cody.
Cody Omega is not his name. Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like, I understand what they're doing. Cody is a big name, and that's why they're bringing him out for their U.S. shows, but it seems kind of crazy that he went and had first that shot at the IWGP Championship,
Mm-hmm.
and then after losing that, he now has a shot at the U.S. Championship over all the other people who beat Juice at the G1. Like I said, I understand why they do it, because he's a big draw for the U.S. shows, but I don't know, it's a little... It doesn't make sense storyline-wise. I think they may have been in like a 6-man tag match, and Cody pinned Juice, and that's the justification for it, but...
Mm-hmm. It would be really... It's going to be really interesting to see Cody come out with his new NWA title. It'd be really cool to start seeing him defend that whenever that starts happening.
His first one is actually going to be for ROH against the Mac, Willie Mac.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a pretty good...
They made that announcement. That's going to be at the Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view in Las Vegas.
What time?
I don't know the date on that
Okay.
off the top of my head.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
But yeah. And apparently, I heard he took the belt and is now doing a more old school belt design, or like when his father held it.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's probably gonna look really good.
So yeah, so like I said, it's now Suzuki-gun and Elite Bullet Club, but it's probably going to be the Firing Squad soon.
Mm-hmm. Maybe this new breed of chaos.
Yeah, and like I said, that junior heavyweight title is kind of up for grabs. I didn't see in the Kobe show they had the first match in that 4-man tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see who won that. That was Kushida versus Ibushi. And the next match they're going to have next Sunday, Scroll versus Ospreay. So the belt can either go to Taguchi Japan, stay in LIJ, go to Chaos, or Elite's Bullet Club.
I mean, yeah, Elite has 2 guys representing. So,
what?
Elite has 2 guys representing them. Kota Ibushi. You didn't say Kota Ibushi?
Did I say Kota Ibushi? I didn't mean to say Kota Ibushi. I mean to say Kushida.
Oh, alright. I thought you said Kushida was facing off against who?
Kushida was facing off against Bushi. That's probably how I
that's why I got
Kushida and Bushi. That's probably what happened.
No, it's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ibushi and Bushi. Gotcha.
Yes, Bushi versus Kushida. I didn't see who won that opening match.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Kushida versus Will Ospreay. Because that seems like a pretty big draw. Because Kushida is Taguchi Japan, right? And Chaos needs something. But also, though, LIJ, they're really cool.
Yeah, could have Bushi win it to just keep the title.
And the only man who's not associated 100% with any affiliation or any faction, your IC champion. Where is he?
Yeah, he's just getting that cruise ready.
Yeah, he is. Ready for the mailbag?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do the mailbag. What has been the most emotional match you've ever seen? I've heard that question floating around and decided we should definitely answer that.
I would probably say that Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks at the Strong Style Evolved, I think it was, in Long Beach. That was very emotional. So.
I think for me, it might have been. For me, it was the Royal Rumble when Rey Mysterio won. I was watching that match, and then Rey Mysterio and Big Show. Rey Mysterio gets Big Show over. Yeah, Rey Mysterio gets the Big Show over the ropes to win it, and I was back in the day, like Rey Mysterio was my guy when it came to singles, so I just got so happy, and I cheered, and that was definitely a really big emotional one for me. And then when he won at WrestleMania that year as well, the big championship. That was a great feeling. That's what it was. Rey Mysterio. News.
Mysterio.
He signs a 2-year deal with WWE. I knew there was something.
I was looking at the phone. I saw the Rey Mysterio thing, and I was like, "Oh, was it the new deal for Rey Mysterio?" But everyone's like, "Oh, well, he saw the little picture, Ray. That would have jogged his memory."
Nope.
Apparently, it didn't.
Great. But yeah, Rey Mysterio is gonna be back for 2 years at WWE. Excited about that.
Hopefully they use him. That's why he left initially.
I mean, he's gonna be the Cruiserweight Championship for at least 2 years, right? Just reminded me of Neville all over again. Poor Neville.
Did you see that one spot from the Cruiserweight main event?
Which one?
The one where there was a suplex that looked like it was going over the top rope, but then both guys went with it, and he landed and continued the suplex on.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, so it was a pretty crazy spot, the way it worked.
How did the physics work there?
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna have to check that out. That's awesome.
That was Gulak versus Cedric. Yeah. Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Is Drew champion yet?
No. Dang. It looks like Drew's probably going to go out of the picture now, and Buddy Murphy's probably going to be coming in.
Oh, he's coming back in?
I'm figuring so.
Buddy Murphy is such class. He's great. I wish he was able to do more.
Wish you could maybe put on some weight so you can go to Raw and team up with Alexa Bliss.
Even
It's weird they didn't do that for the mixed match challenge.
true.
All the other couples except for that.
Well, they're not a couple in the eyes of the main roster.
Well, I mean, technically, a lot of the other ones aren't couples on TV either. Unless Total Divas, but it's not like something
Lana and Rusev is like the only exception, I think.
Well, you also have like Brie. Well, I mean, if you're saying like in the mixed match challenge, yeah, because they don't make reference to Uso and Naomi or some of the other ones.
They only started doing that because of the mixed match challenge.
Yeah, and also because of Total Divas making that an apparent thing. But beyond that, they're not storyline relationship, just like Buddy Murphy and Alexa Bliss on, really.
Did you watch that live Instagram thing with Sheamus yet?
No.
Okay. We're gonna watch that soon.
You ever watched one of his workout shows? He has a YouTube channel where he goes and works out with celebrities.
Oh, cool.
Well, works out with the WWE stars and does their workout routine. I saw his with Alexa Bliss.
Was it as adorable as I think it is?
Yeah. I don't remember if it was in the video or just had like a gif afterwards, but they actually had a thing where she carried him out of the gym. Like, to just show off her strength. Like, he hopped on her back and she just carried him out of the gym.
That's great.
Yeah, I also saw the one with the Iconics. It was a very interesting fact. They were at the same school together, at different grades. But they said like they were the only ones at the school that actually liked wrestling a lot. But they said they weren't actually friends. They actually did it kind of competitively. Like they would see like who got in line first to meet a superstar or something. And it's like
crazy how their competitiveness with wrestling later in the years they ended up becoming really, really close friends and tag teaming together.
Must be good friends with fellow Australian Tony Storm. I don't know if you saw a gift from the Mae Young Classic, but there was a point where they were doing the like finger poke thing, like, and she was Tony Storm was doing it back in the ring to them.
Apparently, there's this whole notion where if you're Australian and a celebrity, you know all the other Australian celebrities. Do you watch Todd in the Shadows?
Not recently.
One of his earlier videos of last year, he had, or a couple years back, he was doing a one-hit wonderland of I Touch Myself. I forgot what her name was, or the band was that sings that song, but the lead singer, Australian, when she died, apparently Hugh Jackman was at her funeral, and a couple more big Australian names. I think, what is his name? He did a horrible job as Javert in Les Miserables.
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe, I think he was there. And Todd was basically saying, oh yeah, I feel like the notion of all Australians know each other is true. Just look at this funeral right here. But, do you know of any questions?
Trying to think. If you were to,
Hello, Rasho Laser. Rasho Laser. How's it going, buddy?
I thought it was like French or something.
Laser.
If you were to make a faction out of superstars, wrestlers right now from anywhere, which ones will you pick? What name would you give it?
So I mentioned this before. If I was a wrestler, my gimmick would be basically inspired by the lucha style, but I'd be entirely dressed as a skeleton. And like coming up with ideas and stuff, a skeleton-based faction has always been there, the Skeletoids. So I would want that faction. I would want to create that faction. And then there's 8 members, 2 tag teams, and 4 singles stars, which is great since that's exactly the type of belts they have in WWE right now. But as for who I would pick to be in it, as in wrestler-wise, so I guess the leader. I'm trying to think who's the other than me. I'd have to say the best person I feel like is like the best leader. Kenny Omega. And let's.
I ain't gonna say he's a good leader. I mean, there's a civil war going right now in his faction.
Well, the Civil War is I mean, he's able to accomplish a lot, right?
Yeah.
And still, the elite is still going strong. Like the elite is still. It's just the firing squad is what caused a big hoopla going there. Who? I want a big guy, a tall guy. Who would I pick for that? Who? Probably Braun Strowman. He's really nimble as a big guy, and he can do a lot of impressive stuff. Now the smaller guy, the quicker guy, is. Well, I already know one of my 2 tag teams is basically taking the Young Bucks and repackaging them because they are fun to watch. So add the Young Bucks there, and a fast, nimble guy, Ricochet. Like the feats of athleticism and acrobatics he can do is beyond control.
Heard today from watching his show, he was actually former in the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions with Toguchi.
Ricochet was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
They lost it to Desperado and no wait, they lost it to Rapani 3K. Sorry, the Rapani 3K lost it to Desperado and Yoshinobu.
I want to like try to catch some of their matches because they're probably really amazing. So it's 3 more. The other tag team, or no, it's so hard because there's so many great wrestlers out there today. The other tag team, I'd bring in the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, because they have that impressive stature. And the last man is the Power Man. He's not the biggest guy, but he's the guy with the hardest hitting, of the hardest hits. And obviously, you have to bring in the King of Strong Style, so Shinsuke Nakamura, and that'd be my faction.
What did you say it was called?
The Skeletoids, because they're skeletons, and they're basically like the Shield and the Nexus, but they actually win the important stuff. Even though the Shield did win the important matches, it's bigger and more impressive. And one of the early signs of a faction is when the leader is wrestling and he gets injured or he's struggling, He'll roll out of the ring and under the eight, like under it, and then another wrestler would roll out, and it's obvious it's a completely different person, but the other wrestler treats him exactly the same, and he's selling the same injuries and stuff. But then out of nowhere, just gets these huge feats of strength where it's impossible to. It's like he's got him. It's like he hasn't wrestled for 20 minutes already. What is going on? Or it's just this smaller guy, and then the big guy is there.
Twin magic.
Mm-hmm. And then the big guy is there. It's obviously it's like one guy is shorter or the same height as the guy they're wrestling, and then out of nowhere, he's much bigger. It's like, what the heck? It's like, oh! I just think that would be funny and fun and just an interesting dynamic that isn't or hasn't really been seen. I mean, yeah, you see twin magic and stuff like that, but you never see stuff as big like that. What about you?
Okay, be a group, which is be called the, it'll be the LDS, the Legit Death Squad, and it'll be filled with a whole bunch of legitimate looking badasses. And we go with the leader, because he is a great leader that doesn't have any infighting in his faction. That's Minoru Suzuki. Lead the organization with no civil wars and completely unified. And with that, we also pair him with a great rival in Ishii, Tomohiro Ishii.
Mm-hmm.
For more legitimateness. Then we also have some more legitimate former MMA guys like Matt Riddle and former MMA girl Shayna Baszler, for more legitimate tough guys and gals.
Wait, the broski is former MMA?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He used to fight in UFC. You know why he got fired?
Was the weed, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He failed a test for pot and they kicked him out. But yeah, he's former UFC, did well there. So Matt Riddle, Shayna Baszler. I will also have the bar as legit bouncer tough guys like situation. And then I also have for my big man, I'll have Walter there as the intimidation factor. If everyone else wasn't already intimidating enough for you.
I mean, so far you're just naming the biggest of the best of the biggest, and it's just like, oh crud. I'm guessing, what is his name? Big Cass is not going to be there.
No, not Big Cass. He's not going to be there. No.
He's not legit enough.
No, he's just tall. That's not legit enough for me. Then when it comes to rounding things out, what can I have else in there? That would be that. I'll also have, in order to help with the going into Mexico, I will have L.A. Park there as a good guy.
Everybody
and
loves
also
him.
the Lucha Bros.
Oh.
That either go as tag teams or individuals, since they can go both ways. And that would help because we're separating everything out. You can have. I guess I'll also put in there Killer Elite Squad, which is the heavyweight tag team for Suzuki Gun. And then you can have Suzuki, Ishii, Killer Elite Squad for the Japan front, Matt Riddle, Shayna, and the Bar for the American front, and then in Mexico, L.A. Park and the Lucha Bros. And of course, for England, the Maverick Shayna bar can also go there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Since, I mean, the bar is from Europe anyway, so.
A lot of good stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I guess the final massive...
And they would also have a moment, I saw this in a little video clip, of a time when all Suzuki Gun had titles,
Mm-hmm.
and they just had a video with Suzuki sitting at the table, and they're all just throwing the titles that they have right in front of him, and it's just a massive pile of like all the titles that was in New Japan, or maybe it was Noah at the time, you know, but it's just an entire stack of titles.
That's great.
When you have a scene like that.
That's respect to the leader.
Yes.
Just giving him your titles, like, here, I won it for you, leader.
No one's betraying him. No one's hitting him with a chair from behind. Oh, Zack Sabre Jr. as well. He also goes there. He can be the leader of the Europe American area, and Ellie Park can be the leader for the Mexico side.
Didn't he just win something massive? LA Park?
Might have.
I think I saw a review or something. No. Never mind, I remember what it was. It was Botchmania last week.
He won Botchamania.
But yeah, as like one of the biggest final questions is for this week: would you rather Undertaker and Shawn Michaels stay retired, or would you actually like to see them wrestle some more?
I think I'd rather see him stay retired, just because you just want to leave good enough alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always that inkling of you do want to see your favorites back in the day keep going, but they've more than paid their dues, and they deserve their time off. They deserve their retirement. So there's always both hands, and only saying that to play devil's advocate, because I grew up in really liking those guys, but I can also see the beauty of keeping them retired, so that way they can just live the rest of their lives however they want to.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you had Star Wars, and then you had the final part of the original trilogy, and it was really great and everything, and then they decided to make prequels, and then new sequels, and then you just kind of like, well, you should have just left good enough alone, and then you just besmirch the name. You know, the world doesn't need a new Undertaker Shawn Michaels match. You know, they have. Yeah, I do actually have one more question that I overheard. I believe that it was actually brought up on one of the question things with Stephen Lawson. One of their fan questions. It was connected to if you were going into wrestling and could go through the training of it, would you rather go through NXT or would you rather go through the Young Lions of New Japan? Which training regimen would you go through?
I don't know a lot about either, but I know a little bit less about the Young Lions and what they do.
I would say the normal routine is that when you go in there for training, it's about 3 years of actual training. And it's by the depending on how you advance, you will get into the ring to do matches before that even. But then once those 3 years are up, you will then go for an excursion, which means you either go to Rev Pro in England, CMLL in Mexico, or ROH in America, and you will wrestle there for a few years and hone your new gimmick before coming back to New Japan. So.
Seems interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to split my body so that way I could experience both and just give a comparison. And when I rejoin myself, have the memories of both and be like, that was... I can see the benefits of that, but also the cons. But it'd be really cool to go down to ROH, though, to try to have a match with Jay Lethal or Kazarian or Christopher Daniels. Guys I used to watch when I used to watch Impact on a weekly basis. Did you have any thoughts on it?
My thought is that I probably would rather go for the Young Lions because it's in the end a more proven system than NXT has been. Because for as good as NXT has been as a product, you also gotta say for developmental purposes, it's not necessarily all there because most of the people they bring in are guys who are mostly fully developed indie stars and strive there, and they only have a pretty small amount of guys that they brought up themselves, homegrown talent that they've really made something of.
Baron Corbin and Velveteen Dream were the only two that really comes to mind.
And a lot of them are women too, you know, Alexa Bliss. She had some time outside, but Sasha Banks, you know, I mean, she did some indie work against Reign and stuff, but she mostly made a name for herself in NXT, barely. Charlotte. I know Becky was on the indie circuit for a lot longer, so I wouldn't really call her NXT homegrown talent. But on the other hand, New Japan mostly takes people who never had training before and brings them into as their talent. I don't know exactly. I can't say precisely if Okada or Naito or people like that's never had training before go into Young Lions, but they probably, if they had any, it was probably very limited. And they went in there and they actually developed them and made them into full-fledged talent. Some of the best in the world.
Look at the star power, getting 5 stars or 4 stars per match, it seems like.
Yeah.
With Okada, Kenny, and more.
Yeah, people like Kenny and Young Bucks are some of the few exceptions with the outside talent coming in, but it's a lot more homegrown talent and a lot at a very good level. And even when you watch the Young Lions matchups, especially Young Lion to Young Lion, yeah, they're very compelling matches. One I was watching today in the show from yesterday, that Kobe show, they had a really great one between these guys that are Young Lions, but they've been having quite a big feud against each other, of showing how equal they are in the feud, because this was their 15th matchup, according to what Kevin Kelly was saying, and all 14 other ones ended in 10-minute time draw. So it's all 14 draws because they're that even with each other, and this one ended with a draw as well. And it was just a 10-minute match, match. It was a really good match, and I think I've seen it before, and they had good matches other times too. So they even show that even before they're allowed to get a personality, and even before they're allowed to make their own moveset, because they're actually limited and said you can only do these certain moves, and as they progress, they'll get more moves to do. But they only really get allowed to make their own moveset completely when they go on their excursions. So even before that, they still show and have good matches.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you can see that it's very promising.
And it's really cool that the limited amount of movesets only get 10-minute matches, where the more complicated, in-depth moveset wrestlers get the 20 to 30 to an hour matches. And that just goes to show you also that WWE has no idea how, because Baron Corbin has a few good moves, but if you give him 20-minute match against Roman Reigns, who has a few good moves, that's going to be a lot of pausing, a lot of breaks, a lot of just standing around, because they don't have the move set to keep going, or the, I think, ability. I mean, they could if they tried it or they wanted to, but the ability to push themselves.
Or if they were given the freedom to.
Or the freedom to push themselves to come up with new things that we haven't seen before. And we saw a Styles Clash onto Okada from Kenny Omega when Kenny won the championship, and everyone was just like, whoa, we never seen that before. I mean, obviously they've seen this Styles Clash, but they never seen it delivered in the way Kenny had delivered it, or they haven't, and that's really cool. It's really cool to be able to grab or to keep pushing forward and keep coming up with new things. I mean, you can even see it in NXT that even though they have a lot more freedom, they are still like, no, don't do that. Don't do that all that much. There's still that, no, not that yet. No, don't do that feeling on, unless of course you're Adam Cole, Bebe, and Ricochet, where it was like, okay, I'm gonna do a moonsault off the ropes, and you're gonna super kick me in the face. What? That was awesome.
And I also say, I think they're having a limited moveset is good because it gets them the idea of having to think about how to work with that moveset. So they have to do more stuff to keep it entertaining as well. So they limit them down to understand the basics and to learn how to do those moves properly to get the most effect out of them. So that, I mean, a lot of times Young Lions matches end up becoming a Boston Crab match because that's one of their moves that they do. But they do it very well every time, and the selling, and they also do a lot of grappling and things like that, mat grappling to go into the matches, and really great mat grappling because they have to work with what they're given, and that forces them to do those at a higher, the higher stance. It's basically if you try and teach someone to hit a baseball, and you just give them like a bat that's way too narrow, and it has like a very tiny sweet spot to them, and you train them to use that, so that by the time they use a regular bat, they're that much of a pro. Because if you learn how to do it in a much harder way, then you can do it a lot much easier way.
Sounds like a really good training regimen right there. So it's decided. We're going to go and become young lions.
Yeah,
and also to be called a young lion is pretty cool.
Or Simbas. Or since it's Japan, Kimba. The only negative is you do have to worry about getting attacked by Suzuki Gun.
Yeah. I mean, at least you'll be able to meet Suzuki.
Yeah.
It's like, Suzuki, I love you so much. Well, bam! Oh, why'd you attack me, Suzuki?
Maybe like
I still love you.
Maybe like right before you do your excursion, he tries to kick you, but you block the kick, and it's like, oh. And then you come back and you get a feud with Suzuki, but after the feud, he respects you so much that he invites you to become a member of Suzuki-gun.
You just booked your fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. that was actually Lawson's response to Steve.
What?
The balding guy.
That one's Larson.
Yeah, Lawson. His response, because he loves Minoru Suzuki, so he's like, "Yes, I would love to be kicked by Minoru Suzuki." And then he would say like he'd go to CMLL, then come back, and then he would be like, they were super impressed by all his stuff, and Chaos goes to like join Chaos and give him a shirt, and he rips it in half, and then he goes join Bullet Club and becomes their new leader. It's like, that's some fantasy booking right there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But yeah, that's the show for this week.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun. Got to talk about a lot of stuff. I wonder what next week it has in store for us.
Well,
I already know you'll be driving to Disney World.
Flying. Maybe.
Flying to Disney World.
Yes.
And I will be stuck at home wondering what my life is become.
It's okay. I'll send you lots of pictures.
Have fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let's check the comments. See if anything happened in the comments. Nope. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please give us those sexy likes.
And the unsexy ones.
Don't forget to share to all of your friends.
And enemies.
If you like what we do, please subscribe to the channel so that way you are a part of the Smarky family. And then hit the notification bell because
you want to get notified for when we go live for our podcast every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time.
Not next week, though.
Not next week, but most other Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And we also go live for most events inside WWE and also events outside WWE. Maybe Issa may go for the New Japan events if he can.
I'll try to catch as much as I can before work, before I get back from work or go to work, but I might not be able to. Pretty late. I might not be able to go live for that, but I might be able to go live, like do a video about it. So be on the lookout for that.
And also other stuff, possibly in the future as well, and just get notified for when we put up new videos. Like for our video for the Small Style Evolved for the Fantasy Promotion Championship, where we crowned the Intercontinental new Intercontinental Champion. Who is it?
It is.
Is it going to be Issa? Is it going to be Liam? Is Issa going to be attacked by someone who looks like me, but it turns out it's Chris Jericho and he becomes the new Intercontinental Champion? Because he's on a quest to be the Intercontinental Champion of every Intercontinental Champion?
Is that really his quest? Because that'd be fun as heck.
That's headcanon.
But yeah, you want to get notified for all of that.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see you guys next time whenever we can. And until next time, it will be awesome. I can't just pause like I would normally do.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Say bye, everybody, Issa.
Bye, everybody, Issa.